All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, today's video went a little bit different than I expected. So let me explain. So right here we have the MEUS MB24. I believe I'm saying that correctly. So I started building this kit on camera and I was doing all the upgrades and everything. And I just kept running into problems and the video was like 2 or 3 hours long. And I was like, I just don't even really want to post this anyway. So I figured let's just finish the build and I'll show you guys what I have on it so far. So essentially this is the prototype. This is not a finished version, but it runs and drives and it crawls, but I do have a lot of things that I still want to do to it. So this is kind of just a video of showing what I have done and asking some opinions on people that have built these in the past that might be able to help out. So anyways, let's go over some of the mods that I have on here. Let's just go ahead and start with the body because I know this is probably going to be people's question. So this is a Tamiya champagne gold and anodized aluminum paint. So it looks really good, especially out in the sunlight. The camera makes it look a little weird in this light, but when I'm outside, I'll shoot some B-roll and you guys can check it out. But it does look really cool. Now on top of that, we have a clear coat pearlescent that I kind of regret putting on. I wish it was kind of just like complete clear, but it does have a bit of a pearl in it. So you could see like some of the sparkles on the side, which it does add a nice touch, but I just screwed it up in some areas, like up here on the roof, kind of clumped together. You know, to be honest, I'm not 100% sure if that's from the pearls, but I know like just from painting cars and stuff, laying it on flat surfaces, sometimes it pools and it makes it look weird. So the sides look good though. The hood has a little bit of it, but it looks good overall. So that's what I painted the body with. Everything will be linked down in the description down below as well. So now the next thing is the Enduro wheels and tires. These were donated from my Power Wagon build. And then also the shocks on here are 40 millimeter big bore Enduro shocks. So this is where one of the first upgrades I think I want to do is maybe some longer travel shocks, and just, you know, I need some tips. Like I said, I don't know if you guys have been watching me long enough, but I've never been really big into the builds that had all the crazy articulation and the big shock droop and all that. But as far as a crawler like this goes, I feel like you could get away with it. But if you throw that on like a Jeep, I feel like that just takes away from the scale in my opinion. Yeah, it's fun to crawl and everything, but if you're making videos or whatever, it just doesn't look realistic in my opinion. But as far as this goes, since this is just kind of like a total rock crawler, turtle crawler, you could get away with it because, you know, there's nothing really to compare it to in real life. I mean, there is, but like it's not like a real life vehicle that you see on the road. It's just all going to be a rock crawler. So now let me just flip it over because as soon as I take this body off, it's a real pain to get back on. That's the one complaint that a lot of people have about this kit, and especially me. It's been difficult. So let's just flip it over and I'll show you guys what we have down here. So these are the MEUS nylon axles. So the front ones have the brass steering knuckles on it, so that gives you a little bit of weight up front. Also, it has a 52-degree steering angle. So this is where one of the first problems I had was that I think the stock servo doesn't allow it to hit the total 52-degree mark, because like when I'm actually driving it, it only goes about like right there. So I don't know exactly what I can do about that. That's the first question I have for some people. If you've ever built one of these, or if you have more advice for servos. But these axles have great reviews, and just getting it out on the rocks, it was honestly really nice. Now the rear axle here, it's just all nylon. There isn't any brass on it or anything like that. I mean, there is some brass on the hexes, but that's it. Now this is where another problem of mine is. So I don't even know if I set it up right or what, but as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see in the back here, it has a lot of sway. So I have everything connected properly. You got all the links and everything down below connected. So I don't know what the deal is if it just sways like that naturally. But if somebody could give me some advice on that, that'd be great as well. Now, another thing about the rear axle, which is really cool, is with these nylon axles that MEUS has, you could actually underdrive it. So basically what it does is it prevents you from flipping over if you're going up a steep hill. So the front wheels will turn faster than the rear ones. So essentially it just helps the front wheels kind of pull the buggy up instead of the rear wheels just kind of tipping it back over. So I don't have it in there right now, but I do have it set aside and I do plan on putting it in. And just if anybody's curious, these axles are about 10 millimeters wider than stock. These are 96 or 95.6 millimeters, and the stock ones are 85.6. So exactly 10 millimeters wider. So it does give it a nice stance, and I think it's appropriate for this build, like I said. So now for the worst part that I hate doing with this car is taking this top off. So once you take this off, it's it's honestly just a mess because the wires go everywhere and it's just a real pain. So the first complaint obviously is that there's no battery tray and there's nowhere to really put it. So I just have it tucked under right here, and that seems to be okay. It keeps the center of gravity down low. Originally I was actually thinking about just gluing it on the top right here, because there is some like fake driver seats and stuff that come with this kit, and I ended up just not including them because there's too many wires and too much stuff getting in the way. So I definitely need to do some cable management and just tidy things up under here and make it a little bit easier to manage. But I have all the stock electronics in here, stock servo, stock ESC, stock motor, and stock servo. So I had to get an extension cord as well, just a heads up for the servo because it's such a small little line. So I got a 6-inch extender and that seems to be good. You could probably go a little shorter if you need to. But yeah, so that's how I have it set up inside here. But like I said, let's try to get this closed. It's a real pain because you got to line this thing up in the back, make sure that closes, tuck all the wires in, make sure the battery's in, and then boom. So it's a pain, but it's worth it because it's a cool little build, honestly. I don't like how you could see all the electronics in here. I mean, it is cool in a way, but then again, it kind of takes away from the scale of things. But overall, it's not that bad. So just to go over and address what I think I'm going to end up doing with this truck is I want to get different suspension, different links, figure out the servo, and then also possibly upgrade the motor and ESC. It's totally fine for now, but I ended up frying an ESC on accident because I connected the battery to the wrong terminal. So that was bad, and that was just another problem I had along the way. So yeah, guys, there's the first prototype of it. It doesn't have too much flex. I'd say it needs a little bit more than that. It's a little weak. So I need to figure out the rear shocks, the rear axle and all that. But I don't know if it'll be my next video where I do more of this or if it'll be a different crawler video. But I thought that was pretty cool. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, leave it a thumbs up. Like I said, everything can be found in the links down below. And then please give me any suggestions you have to make this build any better than it already is. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.